Have you ever time traveled in your life? I have. I actually can time travel. And maybe some people think that it's crazy to say that. Or maybe you think that, oh, like this Asian guy is just finally gone crazy and start talking about some bullshit. But as a matter of fact, you are a time traveler. You can do that all the time. And in this video, I'm going to share exactly how you can borrow the success and the energy of abundance and success and all these powerful resources from the future by just simply going to the future, bring it back into this present moment and utilize it so that you can manifest and achieve your goals and make more money, be abundant at whatever you want to achieve. If you actually learn this skill of quantum jumping, then your success is inevitable. And not only just it's inevitable, then 120% guarantee from the energetic level and from your subconscious level, but it's going to be really fucking quick. You know, a lot of people will just tell you like, oh, good things takes time. Sure, it does. But making money, achieving some goals, like it's not that difficult and it doesn't take much actually time. And a lot of people thinking that, oh, in 5 years I'll be there. And what if I can tell you that whatever the 5-year vision that you have and all this achievement that you think it's just so huge that it takes 5 to 10 years, you can shorten the process, which you're time traveling, right? So you can shorten the process of how long it takes so that you can achieve it way faster. And as I said, you are a time traveler. Already you're a time traveler. And I am traveling time all the time. And you can do it too, okay? So let me ask you, when did you dream? Probably yesterday night, last night, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever that is. You're in a different dimension, am I right? And then there's no concept of time or whatever that dream was. So you already traveled time using your sleep. And or when did you think about whatever happened in the past? Memory. Or when did you think about the future plan? Okay, yesterday or 5 minutes ago, right? So we are actually time traveling every single day using our imagination. Because from this perspective, when you close your eyes, or even you don't close your eyes, you go into trance because you're completely unconscious, right? And then you're using your imagination to experience something energetically, emotionally, and psychologically that is not happening in this present moment. However, your body stays in this, wherever you are right now, on the couch in Japan. To prove your point, if you actually want to recall your memory, which is very bad, you were sad, you were crying and blah blah, then you most likely re-experience what happened in the past, even though you're not there, that person is not here, the environment is completely different. Therefore, you're re-experiencing in your psychological space, but how your brain process that information is exactly the same as you're experiencing in your reality right now in this present moment. So in the same way, when you look into the future, it's so easy to think about the worst case scenario or some like things that makes you worry. I'm not gonna lie, it's easy. It's easy to think about it and it's easy to be worried about, oh, what if it's not gonna happen? What if that, I fail? But it's very difficult to really think about only the good and then the perfect scenario. And that's why the people who can actually do that all the time, then they're inevitable to get the result because they're constantly time traveling into the reality that they want to experience and then borrowing the energy and bringing back the energy from the future into the present moment. And this is actually proven by science. That's why Michael Phelps, Conor McGregor, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, and all these top athletes use a visualization and as well as like tapping into the future event and then bring their consciousness beyond time and space into the pitch and experiencing and then catering and creating exactly the scenario that they want to experience. And that's why you are basically creating the future while you are traveling time in here. And most people are using this time traveling method in the wrong way, even though we all have this system and then a superpower within this consciousness. And I misused in the wrong way too. So back in the days, I was bullied, right? So when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, a couple of years I was bullied, and then I was picked up and I was hated. And I was little, so I was afraid going to school. I was afraid to confront that. I was afraid. I was tall, but I was really skinny, and then I was not brave enough, I'm not gonna lie. So it really shaped my personality, right? And then it was really interesting because when I started my spiritual journey and an inner work, I realized that I had so many patterns from that traumatic experiences, and the days that I hid it, these days that I tried not to express myself, these days that I basically was just afraid. And then throughout my 20s, I had that pattern still within me. So everywhere I go, I was like hiding, and even though, I get attention, and even though my fashion was absolutely amazing, and half of me wanted to get attention, but half of me was just afraid to, maybe somebody's laughing at me, maybe somebody thinking that my fashion is absolutely garbage. It was all in my head. I was constantly time traveling into the past and then recreating the very, very similar future, right? Back in the days in school, that what I experienced in a way that with this body, with the new fashion, with the new hairstyle, and then I'm 23 years old now, or 25, whatever the age was, and then I'm walking down the street, realizing that I'm there physically, but part of me traveled into the future that maybe I might get laughed at, or maybe I'm not going to build a connection with anyone. I may be, people don't like me again, like in some old days. So when we misuse a time traveling method, what's happening is that we are recreating a very similar experience, which in a chemical level, it's basically the same experience that we had in the past, which we didn't like. And then we don't want to recreate that, but our brain is just prioritizing that because entire network of our mind, the consciousness, is built around our identity. In order to basically realize and recognize and identify ourselves as a self, this is show, I need all these data and experiences to make it so unique, a individual as a whole, so that I can identify myself as a small concept, the smallest concept, which is the self. And the reason why it's called a time traveling method, and then you are quite literally time traveling, but at the same time, you are changing who you are. And this is the most important part in this video, okay? You're not just visualizing whatever you want, money and fame and all the things. It's easy to get it. But it's becoming somebody you're not. And I'm not saying in a way that pretend or fake or lying, but it's coming back to your true self. Because imagine if I didn't get bullied, I was more outgoing, I was more extroverted, and I was more like, fun person to be around with. But because of that, what happened, I became so shy, and I couldn't even express myself because I was afraid. So the fear really put me in a cage, and then I just wasn't who I was, right? So the traumas and all these experiences that we have along the way, it limits us so much because we hold ourselves back from just being truly who we are. Yesterday I was just hanging out with my friends, and then there was one little girl, and she was, I believe she was 5 years old. She was very cute, and she got shy instantaneously when she met me, and then, I was like, hey, come over here. And later in the table, and then she started talking to me, and she started kind of like, like I was tickling her and stuff, and she was like chasing me and then blah, blah, blah. And she really liked me, and then we had a really good time. Like, I was not in a conversation with the adults, I was just having fun with this little kid. But you see, she doesn't care. She doesn't care because she hasn't conditioned her mind or nothing outside of her, which could be the experience or, other people that bullies her or whatever the reason is. So she doesn't have any condition where it really puts her in a cage, right? So she's just being who she is. Like, that's who she is. She's very fun, she's very cute, but when we grow up, of course, it happens a lot of things, and then we are told and we get hypnotized by the society and then the parents and then all these other things. So we become receptive to a lot of informations that just like keeps knocking our subconscious. And then finally we let in, oh, making money is difficult. Oh, like, I have to go to the university. Oh, it's like I shouldn't do this. Oh, I'm a man, and man's supposed to behave this way and whatever, right? So when we accept the condition, we're basically building this cage and then put ourselves in it. So when I say you're no longer who you are anymore, it's because who you are right now is just a bunch of cage limitation that is no longer who you truly are. It's you're conditioned to express yourself in a certain way because of the way you think. And the way you think came from the past. So it is you still living in half in the present and half in the past, because essentially whatever happens in the past, it hypnotized you. It literally went into your subconscious, reprogrammed your mind, and then still this day, it controls your behavior. So we are literally constantly living in the past and the present and the future at the same time. And that's why you are a time traveler, which is super cool, by the way. But we have to understand how to use this method and not to be controlled by the things that we want to let go and the things that we want to change, but we want to utilize it and take advantage of this past as well as the future. Because past is a lesson. Past refines who you're becoming. It doesn't define who you are. Because what happened in the past, because you haven't been really good at the business, that doesn't mean that you can't make money. As a matter of fact, a lot of successful entrepreneurs never went to fucking school. So the most important thing is that can you step back from whatever the condition that you had and which made exactly how you think and how you see the reality, but traveling the future and then just to have a glimpse of perfectly design of the reality that you want to experience. And now when you recreate that, you create the energy form, right, in your mind, which is the consciousness, right? It's beyond time and space. It's a living fucking space in a network. And then you're creating a new network in your brain, in data, as a data. Imagine that you have a phone and a photo in your phone. That's a data, right? Imagine you're creating this memory in your phone and information and data and your iCloud. Then that is going to be a reality. Why? Because you are literally connecting your present energy into some future. What happens is when the moment the energy connects with the future, which is the plan that you want to experience, and the energy, then the connecting line between these two dots with the present and the future will be completely aligned, and then it's going to be the path. The moment that you create the line between these two dots, the energy can go back and forth. So it sounds crazy when you time travel and then create, whether it's an imagination or whether it's a feeling, you create this energetic connection between the present and the future. And if you just cut the clip of this present moment, it's a dot, right? But it's a network. So when you look at a network and in this entire consciousness and energetic portal, then what happens is the future is a dot too. But once it's connected, you're basically going to take action, make decision to keep connecting the two dots so that it keeps the line, right? Whatever that you look backwards in hindsight, then every dot was just a dot. But then now, because you walked the one life path, it is connected. And then that's why you can look back and see, oh, that's my footprint, right? That's my life path. And then the same goes to the future direction. And the moment that you connect, it calculates backwards and exactly tell you and then basically order into your subconscious what exactly steps that you need to take. And here's very important to understand that 99.999% is your subconscious driven. So whatever you do is unconscious, right? You don't have any control over that. So what we can do is that not using your willpower and like going crazy about whatever you're working on, but understanding that you're creating the future, that's the dot. And the moment that you connect in the line, then that's going to be your life path, because it already starts to calculate backwards, and then your subconscious knows exactly what you need to do. So imagine that you're creating 2 different dots in front of your head, or 1,000 different dots. And there's 2 very, very strong dots. One is that you're being successful, achieving everything you ever wanted, and then the one next to it is the one that you're just failed, or you didn't try, right? The more you associate the energy in the present moment to connect the 2 dots, the more likely you're going to experience. And there's a study conducted by the Harvard psychologist Dr. Alvaro that you can actually practice piano mentally, and it's a very famous study, by the way. If you practice piano mentally, then you can actually create the same neural pathway, which is almost the same effect you are practicing physically. It literally activates the same neural pathway. You are creating another dot in a different dimension, as well as like the neurological pathway in your brain, which is you're creating a different network, right? Creating the dot in the future in the energetic space is creating a dot or a neural pathway in your network. So here's exactly what you need to do in a step-by-step guide. So step number 1 is, first, clarify who you're becoming. Again, the most important part of time travel is, of course, getting really clear about what you're going to experience and etc. But that reality is outside of your current version, right? Because your current version is already caged by the past, and then you're still halfway in the past. And a lot of times in your day that you use that psychological space or energetic space to really trouble time, and it's really still holding you back, and it's still putting in your cage. So its current version of you can create the limited network, which is your reality, and you're using your perception to basically process it. So it's very limited because it's the network you have. But if you actually step outside and, hey, it has nothing to do with me, who I have been the last 10 years, but this is someone is more confident. This is someone is more abundant. This is somebody is not afraid of these things, which is different person. And different person, different version of you has a different network, okay, which is in your neural pathway, and as well as in this entire universe. So when you use a different network, and of course, you will create a different app, right? Imagine that you have iPhone, right? Here's the iPhone. You have a different network in your iPhone, and of course, you're using a different app, okay? So what we create is step outside of who you have been. Just because you've been thinking this way, just because your reality is that way, just because your past is look like this, step outside, okay? Don't go back into the past. Put yourself in a hypnotic state, because that's exactly what happened in the past, and it's still hypnotizing you to control your entire neurological pattern, as well as your behavior, and as well as the things that you say and your fucking future. So step outside and get clarity of who you're becoming, and then who is this person? Who are you? What kind of like identity that he or she has, and what kind of like action, behavior pattern, or like what kind of emotion on a daily basis that this person has. And second step, number 2, is you have to start acting like it. And some people might tell you like, you know, like you're fucking delusional, or like maybe laugh at you. But that's the thing. And that is the most important essence in any achievement. Can you believe that you are becoming the person? You might even think that, oh, like I haven't achieved it. There's no evidence. I can't see the money. I can't see the success. I don't look like that, you know, fucking shredded person. How do I believe? Or I feel like I'm lying, right? Is it fake it until you make it? No, you don't fake. You just become it, okay? Like imagine you're fat, and if you lose 20 kilo, right? Then you're becoming very fit. Does that make sense? You're not faking anything. You can't fake. You just became a fit person from a fat person. So that's the process. But you have to basically, in the day 1, today, you have to become it. You have to become it. This is the day 1 of becoming that version. So this is not a fake it until you make it, right? you're still faking it, you're lying. And technically, you can't just point a finger at somebody who's just becoming fit, right? Fitter or whatever, and then tell that person is like, you're not becoming fitter. And just because other person's perception cannot capture the growth or change or transformation, that doesn't determine your reality at all. So you fucking decide that I am becoming, and then take the responsibility of you being that person, you being fit, you being successful, you being the person of your dream. I have a variety of meditation that actually reprogram your mind. I've worked over thousands of people, and I have people who just 20x their income. I have a proven system in what I teach. So go ahead, and then I have a bunch of hypnosis videos and hypnosis that I actually instantaneously reprogram your mind. And a lot of people literally changed their life just with my YouTube videos. So go ahead, if you cannot focus, then I highly recommend you to meditate, because if you cannot focus, then you cannot control your energy. Okay, go ahead and meditate. My meditation is designed to change an entire energy system, as well as your program in your subconscious, the network. Okay, and you might thinking this is just like some wishy-washy concept, but you are literally, quite literally, the moment that you step in the past or the future in your mind, that's a creation. Actually, you can change your life just like that. And that's why me and my clients are changing their lives, increasing their income 10 to 20x in 3 to 6 months. Like, people are changing their life in 3 to 6 months maximum. It doesn't take 2 years and 3 years to change your life. So be mindful when you go into the past and step into the past with your mind. And as well as when you go into the future, make sure that you're creating exactly what you want and then connecting the dots. The more you connect the dot by visualizing and then like duplicating the feeling as an emotional experience, you're literally connecting the two dots. The moment that energy connects with these two dots, then that's the life path that you're going to walk, and that's 120% inevitable. Okay? And then when you go into the past, don't let past control you. Okay? Step outside and really look at yourself without all this cage, and then you see the real you, the authentic you, that if you're not going to be judged, if nobody is against you, then I am pretty sure you're way more than who you think you are, okay? Beyond of your imagination. All right, with this said, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to 10x your income, okay? If you're working on your business, stuck at 10, 20K a month, and then you want to go 50K, 100K per month and make millions and go 7-figure, then apply from the link in the description, and let's see if we're a good fit. And as always, we're on this together. You're working on yourself, and I'm working on myself, and we're on this together. You're not alone. All right, we got this. If you like the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell. I don't know what it is, but it helps me to reach more people. So I appreciate your support. Peace.